Hey guys, this presentation will move on to the second part. So we're going to be going further into the triad. And in this presentation, I'll be reviewing conscious, subconscious, self-image. And then we'll be enacting, or not enacting, but we'll be looking further into what the roles of each three are and how they specifically affect each other and how we can align it to be equal, right? Earlier we had talked about the three circles being equal to one another. So we want to get to that stage, but everybody initially doesn't start off with the three circles being equal. So we're gonna work to the point where we can get those three circles being equal, or as close to equal as we can. All right, so let's go over what we're covering today. So we're going to be reviewing the bringing it all together slide from last presentation. I know that a lot of you got confused by that. I'll be answering questions about that, so don't worry. And then we'll talk about balancing the triad. And then lastly, we'll go over the principles of mental management, how we implement those in Quizable, and then why are they important. And you'll see that those link to the three main concepts of the subconscious, conscious, and self-image that we've been studying earlier. All right, so let's start by going over the last slide from the last presentation, the bringing it all together slide. I know a lot of you got confused by this. I'll start it by answering Anirud's question, which will also allow me to give a general review of this. So let's go over what each thing does here, right? So the conscious, remember, is what you can control with your mind directly, okay? So it's those specific thoughts that you can control. So I am consciously thinking of saying these words right now, right? I can control what I say, right? Each word choice that I use, that each word is controlled. When you play, right, you can consciously tell yourself what to think, right? I know that seems a bit abstract to you right now, but say it's like, I'm consciously telling myself to put my hand on this table, right? That's a conscious thought. If I'm telling my brain to do that, we're gonna use that conscious to basically. The conscious is basically, it basically controls everything. It's the mastermind behind the brain. I'm gonna phrase it like that, right? Your subconscious then is all the inner thoughts inside your brain. So these are things you can't control, right? Think about when you eat food, right? Do you tell yourself to eat food? No, you just do it. It's things that come naturally to you. Conscious things don't come naturally to you. They're things that you force yourself to think. Can you make eating a conscious action? Yes, you can do that. But it's not something you're going to consciously do because your brain needs to do other things, right? When you think about Quizable, when you think for your answer, that's subconscious, right? You're not telling your brain, search for this specific answer. Your brain just does that on its own because it knows that you want to find the answer. If you look at the self-image, that's just your feeling or your emotion towards yourself. That's how you view yourself. It's literally the self-image. It basically acts as the checkpoint, right? If you're confident about yourself, you're gonna perform well. If you're not confident, you're not gonna perform well. Is that my dog? Doggo, come here. Yes. Hello, Doggo. The doggo will be joining us for this video. Guys, say hello to my cute doggo. Ben, say hi. Ben, say hi. Hi. Okay. Let's get Doggo on screen. Doggo will not join us for video. Okay? So, your performance is obviously just how you do. So let's go over again how these are linked to one another, right? You're so cute. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Okay. So, your conscious goes into your subconscious. Okay? It controls your subconscious. Your conscious tells your subconscious, okay, let's get this question, let's think about it, right? That subconscious, I'm going to add this new arrow here. I think it's a good addition. So your subconscious will go back to your conscious, and it'll tell your conscious, okay, I know the answer, and then you'll subconsciously buzz in, but then you'll consciously say the answer. You usually subconsciously buzz. You don't really think about how you buzz, but you do think about when you say the answer. Like, I think for most people, they know when they say the answer. For some people, they may say the answer subconsciously. I could see that. You can argue either one. But anyways, before you answer, you go to your self-image. Oh, no, don't chew the wire. Bad dog. Okay. The conscious goes to the self-image, right? And then the self-image looks at how confident you are. If you're confident, you go for the answer. If you're not, then you neg or you wait, right? That subconscious can affect your self-image, or that self-image can affect your subconscious as well. You may not buzz because you're nervous, right? And then your self-image goes to your performance, right? Very important thing right here. Your performance does not go to your self-image. Your performance goes to your conscious, and then your conscious goes to your self-image, right? We all understand that. The only arrow that performance goes to is conscious. Conscious goes to self-image. So you control your self-image through your conscious and not your performance. How you play does not control how you will play. Very important thought, right, Ben? Ben, very important thought, right? Doggo agrees. Okay. So we went over that. We'll go on to the next slide. Okay. So Doggo had to go to sleep. He was looking at the door, so I let him go back. So let's now go over the balance of power and the different scenarios that can occur. So please pause the video here and open up page 24 or 26 of With Winning in Mind. There are a bunch of diagrams, and it would have taken too long to draw them. So you can open the book and see them there. So I'll flip to that page, and we can get started. Okay. So let's look at figure 4.2 first, right? Large conscious, small subconscious, small self-image. This is the newbie player, right? So their conscious is small or big. They're sure that they know what they're focused on what they're doing, right? But their subconscious and their self-image are small because they don't have confidence that they're gonna do well yet, and it mirrors their subconscious because they're new to it, right? So you may face a lot of these players in game, but don't underestimate them, right? The subconscious that they do have, the knowledge they do have, they'll do well on it, right? So you don't want to underestimate these players, right? Treat them with the respect as you would treat any other person you play with. Figure 4.3, large conscious, large subconscious, small self-image. This is our player that is not confident whatsoever, right? They have the conscious, they have the subconscious, they're focused, but they don't believe in themselves, right? You fix that by believing in yourself. Let's move on to figure 4.4. So, small subconscious, small conscious, large subconscious, large self-image. So they're just distracted, right? They don't have a conscious. They don't know what to tell themselves to do. This is a lot of you guys, right? You're distracted. You goof off, right? In the mind, I'm looking at you. So the way that you fix this is that you make sure that you pay attention, right? You make sure that you focus. So that's your conscious, okay? Fix that. And figure 4.5 is the overconfident player. So large conscious and subconscious are equally sized, but they think they have a really large self-image, but their self-image is actually really small. This is a really confusing concept. I'll go over it right now. So basically with these players, they're overconfident. So they have a really big ego, right? But their self-image doesn't match their subconscious, right? It's too big, right? They need to either tone down their self-image to meet their subconscious and then have both grow at the same time, or they need to get their conscious and subconscious to grow at the level of their self-image, right? So if they think they're really good, they have to be really good. And so what you do if you're too overconfident is you want to lower that self-image down back to a normal level and then work your way up to have all of them increase at the same time. Remember, we want balance. Ideally, we want all these to be as big as possible. If they're big and equal, that's just, sorry, I bit my tongue. That just means that you're a good player, right? That's what we want. And that's the balance. That's the triad state. You figure out what you do wrong or what you need to work on, and you get better at that. And let me go over that right now. If your conscious is too small, start focusing more. If your subconscious is too small, study more. If your self-image is too small, start believing in yourself. That's the very basic logistics of it, right? If you can figure out which one of those three you have gaps in and build it up, then you're fine. Remember, you build up subconscious by studying, you build up conscious by focusing, teaching yourself how to focus, teaching yourself how to have more discipline, right? And then you build up your self-image by being confident in yourself, right? And we'll go over that through visualization. If you have any questions on how to build that up, let me know in the comments below or send me an email. And then which ones apply to you guys? We went over 4.3 and 4.4 applying. I'm sorry, I bit my tongue and it really hurts right now. But yeah, 4.3, some of you are not confident. And then 4.4, you guys get too distracted. Both of those are really, really bad. Make sure you don't do them, right? You guys mainly fall into the 4.4 scenario, with some of you having both 4.3 and 4.4. All right, so now let's go over the principles of mental management. These are going to help you understand and apply your knowledge about conscious, subconscious, self-image. They're basically ways that you can get to the triad, and they're things that you should generally just do, right? So let's go over principle number 1. Your conscious mind can only concentrate on one thing at a time. Like TLDR, you can't multitask, right? Tell your conscious to do one thing. Tell your conscious to answer the question. Before the round or before the next toss-up, tell your conscious to reset your self-image, right? Tell yourself that you're a good player, right? That's resetting it, okay? And there's positive versus negative picturing, right? Don't have your conscious do negative things. Have your conscious do positive things, right? Reinforce positive things. If your conscious does negative things, it'll continue to do negative things, right? You can't picture well and picture playing poorly at the same time. You picture one of them. You either picture yourself playing poorly or you picture yourself playing well. Choose the one where you picture yourself playing well. Principle number 2. What you say is not important. What you cause yourself or others to picture is crucial, right? What you tell yourself to do is what's important. So this goes into 2 things: communicating with yourself and communicating with other people, right? So what you say is not important. If I tell myself to do well, like literally telling myself to do well is not important. Oh, hell, it hurts. Okay. What's important is the feeling that you get where you know that you can do well. That's what counts, right? It's action, not word. Right? Word doesn't matter. Word helps you get to action, but the action matters, right? And this counts for other people too, right? You can say something to somebody, and you think that doesn't have any impact on them, but if that changes how they feel about something, like if I act rudely to a person, what I said didn't hurt them. How they felt about what I said hurt them, right? So cut out your unnecessary comments, cut out bad self-impactful actions, and make sure that each action that you make counts, right? Each thing that you say leads to an action. So make sure that the action counts and that you recognize that what you say will help lead to your action, right? So what you tell yourself, if it's a good thing, will help to reinforce good things. That's what we want. All right, let's go over principle number 3. All right, the subconscious mind is the source of all mental power. That's very basic, right? How does that apply to Quizable? The way that you think about your answers is all mental. Trust yourself that you can do that mentally, right? That's basically it. Understand that all that counts, like how you get questions, it's all subconscious, right? Everything else, the conscious and the self-image help to facilitate that, but that brain power is all subconscious, right? You're not thinking about that. Brain power works on its own. It doesn't need anybody to guide it through what it does, right? Your conscious tells you for your subconscious to do this, right? But those individual actions the way that your brain wires itself to say, okay, I know the answer. Nobody needs to tell it to do that, right? Principle number 4, the self-image moves you to do whatever the conscious mind is picturing. So what this basically says is conscious links to self-image, right? Your performance does not control your self-image. Your conscious controls your self-image. Your conscious is the control center, right? It controls your subconscious to tell it what to think. It controls your self-image to tell it what to feel. Most people know that conscious controls your subconscious. People don't know that conscious controls your self-image. Be aware of the connection from C to SI. That's really, really important. If you can understand that, then you're gonna do really, really well, right? Because you're gonna tell yourself to do well, and then you will do well. That's something you guys have to get. If you tell yourself that you're gonna do well, you will do well. There are no doubts about that, 100%, right? So use your conscious well. It's the control center. It's the control center, right? Principle number 5: your self-image and your performance are always equal. You can only perform as well as you think you'll perform. That's very crucial. If I'm taking it, my policy towards taking a test is I always tell myself that I'm gonna get 100%. I tell myself I'm gonna get 100% when I'm studying. I tell myself I'm gonna get 100% when I take the test. The only time that I don't tell myself I'm gonna get 100% is when I get the test. Then I'm like, okay, I made mistakes. I realized what I did wrong, and I'm not disappointed about it. But the instant I start studying for the next test, I aim for 100%. The same thing should go for Quiz Bowl. You aim to get first, right? Before the round, you know that you're gonna win the round. When you play the round, you know that you're gonna win the round. When you're done playing, you stop. You stop thinking that you're gonna win the round because the result is already done with. You move on to the next round, right? You think that you're gonna win the next round. You play the next round, you know that you're gonna win in the round, right? You always are confident about your process. You're 100% sure that you are the best when you do your process. Does that make sense? Like, your self-image is crucial. If you tell yourself that you're gonna be the best, that's the highest, then you don't leave any gap for stealing. If I tell myself that I'm gonna get a 90% on a test, that I'm aiming for a 90%, the highest grade I can get is a 90%. If I'm shooting and I tell myself, okay, I want a 200 out of 300, the highest I can shoot is a 200 out of 300. If I tell myself I'm gonna shoot a 300, then I will shoot a 300. So tell yourself that you can shoot the best, right? Or sorry, I'm using archery terms. Tell yourself that you are the best player, that you can perform the best. Just don't bank on results, right? Be sure of yourself. Okay, so now let's go into Principle 6 and Principle 7. So you can replace the self-image you have with the self-image you want, thereby permanently changing performance. This is exactly what I said in the last slide. Having confidence and setting your bar to the highest level is crucial. If you set your bar to the highest level, your performance can go all the way up to the highest level at the maximum. But you don't limit yourself. Your self-image is the maximum. Don't lower the maximum because you want to. The highest goal is the maximum, right? If you can get the maximum, go for it. Don't limit yourself. And then make sure that you don't care about the result. You care about the process. Always care about the process. The only thing that matters is the process, right? If you hold the trophy and you look back at it, you don't look back at the result. You look back at the process. You're proud about the process, right? And in Principle 7, the principle of reinforcement, possibly the most important one, the more we think about, talk about, and write about something happening, we improve the probability of that thing happening. Tell yourself, literally, when I shoot, I tell myself, this is literally, if I shoot and I have a bad shot, right? What I will literally tell myself is, okay, you're a great shooter, you're a very good shooter, you will get a 10. Don't doubt yourself. You have good form, you have good point of aim. They're all positive things. The first 4 things sound like something Donald Trump would say. But have positive reinforcement. Always tell yourself that you're going to do good, right? Because you are. If you put in the work, then you should never feel that you're not going to do good. If you haven't put in the work, then it's okay to feel that. But if you're proud of the work you do, have no regrets about the work that you do, right? It builds on the past 6 principles because it takes everything about it and says, be confident about yourself, right? Nothing happens without work ethic, but if you have that work ethic, then you should be proud of it. And again, this is something where you have to work hard on it, right? You guys are used to physically working hard. You study all the time, right? You review clues all the time. But here I'm asking you to work hard mentally too. Tell yourself constantly, like literally talk to yourself and be like, you're good, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually really, really healthy mentally, okay? Tell yourself that you can perform well mentally. I literally talk to myself and I tell myself I can do that, right? Do that. It's good for you. Don't hold back, right? And if you have a good buzz, tell yourself that was a good buzz. I'm proud of that buzz. I'm gonna keep buzzing like that. If you have a bad buzz, look back at your good buzz and be like, okay, I know that I can perform well, right? I messed up on the buzz, but I'm not gonna mess up on the next one, and I have enough knowledge to beat this guy in front of me. So I'm gonna beat him, right? Do it. That's all you have to do. And now, going into the last slide, positive prediction and praise. Expect your performance and recognize good performances, not bad ones. We went over this at the end of the last slide. I choose to, on page 44, Bassam says, I choose to think about, talk about, and write about what I wish to have happen in my life. Write about good things. Talk about good things. Right? Think about good things. Don't do any of those for bad things. If you think that you're going to do well, you will do well. If you think that you're going to do badly, you will do badly. It's very, very basic, okay? Trust yourself that you'll perform well, right? And reinforce the fact that you'll perform well by thinking positive, right? When teachers teach you, it sounds like a goody two shoes strategy and like a real soppy teacher strategy to like, oh yeah, kiddo, you're doing good, pats like head. No, okay? Like there's a reason behind it. And in terms of a competitor, there's no soppiness to it. If you don't believe that you're gonna do well, you will fail. Okay? So you can't have a bad mindset. You will lose if you have a bad mindset. You know why? Because a bunch of these, I mean, just look at the tournament you played at today, right? There are teams just as good as you. What makes if you think that you're worse than them, they won't hesitate to beat you, right? But if you have the confidence that you can match up with them and that you can beat them every time, then you are ready to take the challenge and you have a good chance of beating them every time. Have that confidence. Okay. I'm gonna close out this slide or this presentation right now here. I've already made the visualization presentation. I will record it tomorrow morning. It's pretty late right now, so I will send this out tonight. All right, cool.